So, okay, we want to hear all about the product and this wireless, totally wireless charger, right? But we also want to get to know you.
Okay.
Who is Meredith Perry? So I looked up a few things, as I always do, and your little bio on your Twitter account says, founder and CEO at uBeam, power suckler on the teat of life, uses a machete to cut through red tape. What the hell does that mean?
Well, I haven't changed that in many years.
Okay. What would you say today, then? How would you describe yourself and what you do?
Well, I mean, it's pretty similar. Power suckler on the teat of life, so people suckle on teats. Not people, but animals.
Hopefully.
I can't believe this is a part of this presentation. Anyway, if the teat of life, it means I soak everything out of life, or I suckle everything out of life. This is getting very awkward very quickly.
Okay. I'll put you out of your misery.
Uses a machete to cut through red. That's a line from a Cake song. She uses a machete to cut through red tape. You know?
Does that describe you, though? Does that describe what you're trying to do?
I mean, just in general, you know, the theme is like, you know, break boundaries, you know, cut around corners. You know, if the front door is closed, try the back. If the back door is closed, break through the window. That's sort of my philosophy in life.
I like it. Well, so, okay, tell us about the product. You started this 3 years ago.
Yeah.
Walk us through the idea, what the technology is.
Sure. So uBeam is real wireless power transmission. And when I say real, when people hear the term wireless power, they either have absolutely no idea what you're talking about, or they think of like contact-based charging on a mat. True wireless power is like a Wi-Fi experience of charging. So what we're doing is we're transmitting power over the air to charge your devices. So all you have to do is walk into a room and, you know, use your device as you normally would, talk on the phone, text on it, et cetera, and your device kind of magically charges in the air without you needing to plug it in as you're moving around.
Okay. I'm sure a lot of people in the room would want to use something like that. It is not out yet. You've been working on this for about 3 years. You have come under some scrutiny recently and some pressure to release details about the technology behind this. And there have been people who have said that this violates the laws of physics, that it is potentially dangerous, that the waves could cause cancer, nausea, whatever else. What do you say to those claims?
Yeah. So first, I'll start off by saying, in this room right now, there's wireless power. How? Well, any type of energy can be converted into usable energy. So right now, for example, the light energy that's coming from these light bulbs, if I converted that into usable energy or electrical energy, you would say that there's wireless power in this room. And then suddenly, it's not light. Now people are talking about, oh my God, there's wireless power in this room. Are we all going to get cancer? Mm-hmm. You know, am I going to become infertile? Wireless power, is it you know, am I going to get cancer? No, it's just light. But you know, it's sort of it's a mentality that we have to understand. So it's the same thing with sound. So you know, we're using the way that our system works is. So we have a transmitter and we have a receiver. The transmitter is like a speaker, except instead of emitting audible sound, we emit ultrasound, which is just high-frequency sound. I'm sure, well, actually, I'm almost positive that every single one of you in this room was imaged using ultrasound when you were a fetus.
Back to suckling again?
Back to the suckling. Yeah. So anyway, so sound is simply just vibration through the air. And when we think about sound, we don't get scared. But if you think about sound as a source of power, and you just talk about wireless power, then people are like, oh, what's it going to do to me? So anyway, so, you know, that's just baseline, you know, like emotional reaction to just, you know, understanding the difference between energy in general and converting it into something called wireless power, which is this sort of mystical, scary thing that we're unfamiliar with. In terms of, in terms of claims, does this break the laws of physics? Is this unsafe? All of that kind of stuff. So one, the answer is no. This technology does not break the laws of physics. I'd be a little crazy to work on something for what's actually been almost 4 years now. If it broke the laws of physics, that's something that you can find out pretty early with just basic principles in math. Those who think this breaks the laws of physics, or those who thought this broke the laws of physics, didn't have understanding of, one, how the system worked, or what the basic specs are. And when you're dealing with ultrasound or any kind of wireless power, the way that the power is transmitted through the air, what frequency of sound you're using, the frequency is literally how fast air particles are moving through space, how fast that sound is moving. All of these different variables affect the way that the sound is transmitted through the air, affect how much, affect the rate at which power drops off over distance. And so, we had never released any of our tech specs. We had never.
You just did, right?
We just did. So.
Why? Why now?
Why now? Well, so we never planned on releasing our tech specs.
For competitive reasons or any other reason?
Well, a zillion reasons. One, we're a private company, and so why would we? Would Apple or Samsung, come out a year in advance and say, like, hi, so next year we're coming out with the iPhone 7, and it's going to look like this, and these are the dimensions, and here's how it works. No, you just don't do that. So why would we do it? And no one's asking them, how does your technology work? So that was one reason. It was just sort of like, why would we, if the technology changes and we say one thing, I mean, there's just, no. And the second point was, I actually kind of secretly liked the fact that some people thought we broke the laws of physics, because then that would mean that there were less people that would try to copy us. So I was like, all right, go for it, because in the end it's binary. You come out with your product and it's either in your hands or it's not. So I just always assumed, all right, the product's going to prove itself. So why now? Why did we release our specs? There's been a lot of excitement about the technology recently in the press. We've raised some money from some pretty high-profile people.
23 million?
24 million.
24 million.
And then the light shines on you. And when you have no information about how your technology works, or why it's safe, or not even why it's safe, or how it's safe, or how it works, then you get people pop up who become skeptical, and when you don't have information to provide them, then they're going to make their own assumptions. And so you can make your own assumptions about the technology, and you can actually draw true conclusions from false assumptions. And so then you can, people can present arguments saying, well, if the technology does this, this, and this, and operates in this, this, and this way, then this is what will come from that, and it's going to, deafen the humans, kill the bees, blah, 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 blah. And so, and then nobody can poke holes in that argument, because the assumptions, because they've come up with their own assumptions. So I wanted to fix the assumptions, or correct the assumptions. And once you correct the assumptions, then none of those conclusions are true. So we decided to release two things. One, our tech specs, which was enough information for an engineer or a physicist or a scientist to be able to look at that and say, this doesn't break the laws of physics. We weren't going to give the whole secret sauce, but I just wanted to put that out there. That, by releasing the specs and by releasing what frequency you're using and how you're transmitting the power and how you're doing X, Y, and Z, then you can explain to people how the technology is safe. Mm-hmm.
So, and Silicon Valley is supposed to be all about trying new things, and you raise money and you develop a product, and
right.
It works, it doesn't work, it takes off, it doesn't. There are a lot of other companies, a lot of other startups that have raised significant amounts of money and have not yet released a product. And it kind of goes without saying, just look at the numbers, most of those tend to be run by male founders. Do you feel like you've in any way been unfairly scrutinized here?
Since I am a scientist, I can't say yes or no because I have no proof to back it up. I've got a gut feeling that the answer might be yes, but I also know that I'd probably be under attack for actually saying that. But at the same time, you look at me and I'm not your typical crazy hardware technology founder. I'm a blonde-haired astrobiologist with a kooky personality, and And
you've chosen to launch the company and keep the company in LA. Why is that?
So we decided to launch the company, so basically, just about a year ago, or a year and a half ago when I was here last year, it was me and two other guys in a garage in Virginia, trying to prove that the technology worked, trying to build it. Mm-hmm. And so, back in June of 2014, that's when we proved out all of the technology. And then we raised our Series A, and we hired 20 people, and we had to figure out, okay, well, now we need an office. We're getting out of the garage. And so we decided to start the company in LA for a couple of reasons. One, there's a decent amount of hardware engineering talent down there because of the aviation and aerospace industry. A lot of people think of LA for entertainment, but there's some serious hardware down there as well. And also, I wanted to be in a place where if I've got an hour a day where I can chill outside of work, I wanted it to be 70 degrees and on the beach. So there you go.
Good reason.
However, we are opening a second location in January in the Bay Area, and
you have another little bit of news to share, right?
Oh yeah, we're also launching our website today, which we haven't had a website for pretty much ever.
So and you have some of those tech specs on.
Yeah, the tech specs are on the site. The safety stuff is on the site. And actually, one thing to note was that after we did release those tech specs, there was a very, very positive response. We had top ultrasonic engineers reaching out to us. We had an influx of new engineering talent that wanted to apply, and so it ended up being a really positive thing for us. And speaking of engineers and speaking of the Bay Area, we are hiring. And I would like some female engineers. I'm looking at every single one of you right now, and female leaders. So if you're bored of your corporate job, please.
If you've been there for over 11 years, talk to Meredith. One last very, very quick question for you. So you have the website. I think next step is a product. So when can we expect a product?
End of 2016. Mm-hmm. That is when we will be releasing our first products. So our transmitter and our phone case for the device. And there's a lot more in the pipeline, but it's going to be a very, very exciting entrance into the world.
Well, we wish you luck. Thank you so much,
Thank you.
Meredith.